Hi everyone. So today in this video, I'm going to tell you a story about me getting my permanent residency 190 invitation from Migration Queensland. And I was really happy. I was really excited because it was like one of those things that you get, like one visa that you get to live permanently in Australia, which we all dream of. So obviously this was like dream coming true. So actually I applied for two visa. One is 190 and the other one is 491. So 491 is only for those who live and work in regional area. So you need to meet that condition. So luckily I was actually working and also living in regional area. So that's why I applied 491 and 190. But I got invitation for 190, which is on 95 points for me. And I'm gonna actually show you how the point system works here, so you can have an idea how you can calculate your points for permanent residency. Now, I was actually working full time in IT in software development, and that's the occupation that I got invited for. And I was also actually working part time in Woolworths and sometime in security events because I love working in events. And Woolworths has been with me since like 2 years, so I didn't really wanted to leave that. So I was working part time there on weekends. Now, there is a twist in the story, which I'm gonna tell you now. So this was actually the happy part that I got invited, and it was really exciting for me. Now comes the sad part. So I'm gonna tell you another story of my 190 invitation. So I had 14 days to submit my documentation at that time, and Queensland Migration only gives you 14 days to submit all your documentation. For 190, there are few requirements of the documentation that were asked, and I had to submit that. Now, I got an email from my migration agent. I actually was contacted by my migration agent, but the thing is that actually I wanted to get into contact with the migration agent I was speaking to, but unfortunately he was in India. And I tried to email, like I emailed him, I actually sent him WhatsApp message, I also sent him message on Messenger, and I also sent him message on Instagram that I want to speak to you because there are a few things, a few documentation that I want to clear my mind up before I send my documentation to you. So unfortunately, I didn't got any response from him, and then I got in contact with his assistant that was working with him since a long time, maybe, and she actually sent me the list of documentation that I had to send to the Migration Queensland. When I got in contact with like my migration agent assistant, so I just told her that, I want to speak to my migration agent because I have been speaking to him since a long time and just wanted to verify a few things before we go ahead with the documentation. But there was no response from the migration agent. So I just had to, go with the flow and give all my documentation to the assistant that was working for him and trust her. Now, I had a bit of like fear inside that, like, I wanted to make sure that every document that I sent is 100% fine because this is a golden period chance that I don't want to miss, and I think that nobody wants to miss this chance. So I just spoke to her to verify my documents, like to get my documents verified by her because she had the expertise that I don't have. So I wanted to make sure everything is going perfectly fine. I actually submitted everything that was requested, and I told my migration agent assistant that please make sure everything is correct. Please double verify every document that I'm sending because I didn't want it to make any mistake. And this is the opportunity that no one wants to lose. So I also didn't want to lose this opportunity. So I just was a little bit more cautious on my documentations because I couldn't speak to my migration agent at that time also. So that was one of the main reason why I wanted to be sure that everything is perfect. Now everything was submitted as per requested, and once everything was submitted, then on the next date, on like if it is submitted today, then on the next day in the morning when I was working, I got an email from Queensland Migration, and the email were three emails back to back. So I got three emails back to back, and the email was something that you never want to see. Literally, I still remember that day, and it is not a pleasant experience that you want to do. So there were three emails back to back sent to me about my documentation rejected, and I actually panicked at the time. It was a really hard time, and I called my agent. But again, I wasn't able to get in contact with my agent. There was no any help. I can say this: there was no any help from my migration agent. And I also want to mention this. Please don't ask me in the comments that who is my migration agent, because for safety and purposes, I don't want to reveal the name right now. But this was something that made me actually cry, because it was a really hard time. But this was still fixable because I had to resubmit those three documents again. But I wanted to make sure, that everything is perfect and everything is correct. So, and I was not getting any help from my current agent, so I had to go to another migration agent to take help, just to take some advice that what can I do, and something that doesn't go wrong. Now, these three documentation which were rejected, one was superannuation, the other one was my employment contract, and the third one was service template of service, which is given by employer. So everything that was rejected was something that can be fixed, and easily, like to submit a document and go ahead. But there were some inquiries as well about my job responsibilities, and as my job and everything was like I was working there since 1 year now, 1.5 year now. So I was perfectly fine with everything. Like nothing was something that I couldn't give them. But I just wanted to make sure that the mistake that has happened previously was not repeated again. I went to another lawyer, not immigration like agent. I went to a lawyer, took his advice. What can we do further? Like, what can we do so that we don't make the same mistake as we did earlier? And once everything was done, I only had 3 days to give all of the documentation that were needed, explanation that was needed. So I actually did that in 3 days, and we submitted our documents again, which was requested. We gave everything, and once we did that, it was on Friday, I can still remember. And on the next week, Monday, when I was working again, I got an email from Migration Queensland, and that was directly CC'd to me. So normally you get an email from your migration agent, they forward it to you, but this was actually CC'd to me. So it came directly to me in the morning, and it says that your nomination is refused. This was a really heartbreaking news, guys. I can say that I literally were like, I was in tears. Right now I can smile because it has all passed, but I was literally in tears at that time. I did not know what to do next. Like this, I really freaked out. But then I calmed myself down. I called my lawyer that this has happened. Like, and if I went through all the description, because they never give you a refusal without stating a reason. So every reason that was given was about my employer, not about my like about me, of course. And there were something that was mentioned about employer that was misleading information that the employer has given, and fraudulent information that was given from the employer. And they also mentioned in the email that like they are happy if I'm willing to apply for Migration Queensland again in the future, but for this time they can't go ahead with my nomination. So I consider myself really lucky at this time, because there was nothing that could harm me as a person living in Australia, because there was absolutely nothing that was my fault. So I feel lucky for that. Like, fortunately, nothing happened to me. Of course, maybe the employer is blacklisted now. I'm not too sure, but I left that job, and that was all my story about getting an invitation, which was a happy moment, to getting a refusal was the which was the saddest part. But life moves on, so am I. So it's all right. Everything happens for a reason, and I think there must be something good hidden in this one. So this was all about my story, guys, and I hope that you guys find some information. I actually lost a lot of fees because I had to pay my previous immigration agent, then I had to pay the lawyer, of course, and there was a lot of troubles at this time. Like, I lost money because of the fees payment, and also I wasted my 1.5 year working somewhere which actually didn't got me anywhere now. So yeah, that is something that is not the very best part, but there is nothing much I can do about it. Whatever happened happened, and life has to move on. We all have to move on. So let's see what life treats me back again. But this was all about my story, guys, and I hope you guys have found some information that can actually help you guys and do not do the same mistake as I did. um, yep, that was it for today's video, guys. I hope to see you guys in next video. Till then, make sure you stay safe, stay healthy, and also bye for now.